All right, there we go. We are here. We are live, even though, you know. Welcome to another Gamer Corner. As I said last week, Gamer Corner was started so many moons ago. Um, Back in 2013 was when Gamer Corner first started on the Fangirl Review website, and it was awesome. Had a chance to interview all kinds of different gamers. I actually want to go back and look at that because I think some of them are actually pretty famous now, but you know, obviously I didn't know who, or they weren't even that big back then. So hopefully we'll get some diamonds in the rough this time around as well. So with me, I have the amazing Action Jack Media Grounds. Let's go. Let's start
Yeah.
there. Let's talk about the name. Where did the name come from? What is it about? Share.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. And Vicky's not late. It's my fault. A little iffy with Discord, so that's all on me. So definitely don't blame her. But to get into the name, Action Jack was a name I've had pretty much ever since I got into the military back in 2008. So with my last name being Jackson, ironically enough, my first duty station was in Fort Jackson.
Oh,
And that area in itself is kind of more like a school location for the military, so they call it like relaxing Jackson a little bit. But then it just kind of went into like the whole Action Jackson moniker and the nickname and everything, so I kind of stuck with it. Also like my artist name as well, so I just kind of have it across the board. But with the media grounds, it's just kind of synonymous with everything that I do, from the podcasting, both on the gaming side as well as like personal current event side of things, as well as the music that I do. So it was just kind of like a culmination of everything with media in general. But I do have separate music grounds as well, but then media grounds are just like the all in one. So that's how I end up coming with the name.
so you're also a musician, or talk about more about that as well.
So I say it's been about 3 years now. 3 years now. I initially first got into just beat making,
Okay.
and because my father's side of the family, they're all musicians. And one day, he came to my house with my brother, saw I had a computer because I had started doing podcasting with the Blue Yeti, and he just saw a microphone and a computer, and he was like, "We're gonna make music," and I'm like, "Okay, fine, no big deal." So after we kind of did a little music or just kind of watching them do everything, it didn't dawn on me that my iPad had GarageBand on it. And GarageBand
Oh.
is very useful if you know how to actually use it. So played around with it. Kind of got to the point to where I wasn't quite sure if I was going to take it serious. So I just kind of gave myself a challenge of, if I make 100 beats that I like and keep, then I'll continue doing it. So I actually did that, kept it going with the instrumentals for a while, got tired of not hearing anybody on them, so I taught myself how to rap. And now, about what, three or four albums later, now I'm
Ooh.
still doing it. Yeah.
Okay. And they can find you, you know, Apple Music, Google Music, uh,
Yep.
Spotify, and all that jazz.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
So all the streaming services and the YouTube channel as well. It's something that I don't really promote all that much because it's kind
Yeah.
of one of my just like side hobby things, but yeah, it's definitely there. Just Action Jack on any streaming platform, and you'll see my lovely mug pop up. And yeah, it's right there.
I definitely have to check it out because I knew it was like some type of music, but I didn't really know much about it because you never talk about it, so I
Hmm.
know nothing. I
Right.
was like, I don't know.
Right. But
uh,
yeah, it's there. It's definitely there.
okay, so what kind of gamer do you classify yourself as? Are you a console, PC, tabletop, blah blah blah?
Ugh. So I always classify myself as a console gamer. As much as I try to get into PCs, tabletop, all that stuff, I tried. But consoles is just it's too easy. It's plug and play. You don't have to worry about setting anything up or changing anything. It just works. And I've been playing games for so long,
Hmm.
it just kind of just stuck with me at that point. Not to say I don't like the other, PC or tabletop. I mean, I'm definitely big on tabletop too, but always just go back to what I know, which is console.
Okay. What consoles do you currently own?
So right now I'm only sitting with a Switch. I was getting a little too, it was getting a little too heavy because I had PS5, the Series X, my Switch, and then also I'm in VR too. So I
Yeah.
have my Quest 2. So it was too much. Like, granted, my kids loved it. Anything that they wanted to play, it was there. But after a while, trying to play everything that you like, gaming get expensive real fast. So
Yeah.
so I just went with what was something that I played often, which was the Switch and also my VR headset. So those are kind of like my two I have now. But yeah, I've had a PS5 and the Series X before.
As in, you don't have them anymore?
No,
Would you?
like I had them for a while, and I there were some games that I liked, but then when I realized like there's like the newer games, the PS5 games that are exclusive, or even the Series X games, I didn't really care for them.
Mm.
So I just went for like I ended up selling them off. My cousin went and he bought my PS5, and then my kid's mother, she actually bought the Series X off of me. So yeah, I sold them. Like most people thought I was crazy because it was already hard enough to get them as is, but I
Yeah,
was like,
no. I
I
mean,
don't like to
you
just
don't
have
want to
stuff sitting around my
very.
house
Yeah,
just collecting dust.
You don't want an expensive paperweight. So now I understand that. I understand that. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
what got you into like streaming and content creation?
Um, that one was kind of like a mixed bag. So my family always knew me as the video game guy. And they always told me like you should do something with gaming. Like we don't know what it is, whether you want to get into programming, game testing, doing the content creation, and they see across their Facebooks all the time and YouTube. So they thought it would be a good idea for me to actually start doing it. So for me, I didn't really dig into it until like my therapist like really told me something that I should dig into because she felt like it'll be a good, stress reliever and things like that, especially coming from the military. And so looking at content creation to
Mm-hmm.
where there are so many like copy and paste creators, not to, take stabs at anybody, but for me, it's hard to find the information that you look for or
Mm-hmm.
that you want to see versus the same rinse and repeat. So this is kind of like a conversation that Jay and I had to where it came down to I don't want to record everything that comes out. If it interests me, then I'll put the passion and the love behind it and then make content.
Yes.
Or definitely just give my thoughts opposed to just saying, okay, what everybody else is saying. So that's kind of how I got into it. I try to dabble a little bit more into it, whether you talk about the Let's Plays or even just streaming a little bit. But then it got a little daunting because then you find yourself like purchasing stuff you really don't care to play. So I just kind of do it here and there. But definitely that's how I got into
Mm-hmm.
it. Just kind of family support along with wanting to see something different and being the one to provide that instead of looking for it and complaining that it's not out there. You might as well put it out there yourself.
No, it's very true. You have to sometimes if the space isn't there, you have to create it yourself. And I think that's important as a content creator
Correct. Yes.
to always keep that in mind that you don't need somebody else that to create that space for you. You can do it first and then you can claim it as yours. Like I did it. That was me. you know. Sometimes it's, you don't always have to be
Right.
humble in
Exactly. And then,
content
like you said,
creation.
go back and watch your own content.
Yeah. So it's like,
True.
be
That is
the
true.
person
And then
that
especially,
paves the
when
way.
you were mentioning it earlier, right? Because you were mentioning earlier looking at some of your old stuff. And that's something that's very exciting too. Like after so much time going back and looking at that older content and just being excited just to see your older content because you actually took that step forward to actually try to do it.
Yes. Even though some of my older content, I just remember people attacking me for some of that older content, and I always have my own
Really?
opinions. I've been called a "see you next Tuesday" I don't know how many times, especially when I went in on that.
Really?
Whichever, I forget how many years ago, that Wolverine movie when he was in Japan or whatever. That one, I like went in on how trash I thought it was. Whew. The amount of people that tore me up. I forget what the website was, but they you can like reshare your links. Yes, the Wolverine. Thank you, Yaktown. Thank you, Hitman. Welcome in. Welcome in. And you can reshare your links on there. And I was like, because I'm like, put your links. The more links you have out there, the more clicking, blah, 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 SEOs, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
They put me on the front page of their website. Talk about getting body slammed. I was like, I'm not even going to read what they're saying about me. And they like came to my website to purposely comment. They were like, no, we gotta comment on this. I don't know if I left up the comments of the stuff they were saying, but I was like, I'm not even gonna read it. My aunt was like, I'm reading it, and she was like, oh my gosh, the stuff they're saying. And I was like, if I didn't like a movie, I didn't like a movie.
Right.
Is there any content that you would... Okay, let's move it along, because, I can talk about that. Welcome in, Prime. I appreciate you for being here. Is our audio doing okay this time around? I actually went and got my expensive headphones out, because, I pay for them, but then I don't ever use them.
Right.
Because, that's what I do. I have the expensive Elgato green screen. Do y'all see it behind me? No. Because, whatever. Jay, I have an idea, and I'm going to pitch it to you. We're going to talk about it. But I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm with the amazing Action Jack for the people who are just getting in. And we are talking about him and all about him. So, is there any content that you would like to make in the future?
Yes. So it was actually, I kind of dabbled in it a little bit when I first started off, and that was skits.
Oh.
Really want to get back into skits. It was a one-man show for sure, but it was definitely something that was fun. Just kind of being myself, because even though like a lot of people that first meet me think I'm reserved, but I'm goofy. I'm goofy as hell. So I like to joke around. I like to have fun. So even when it comes down to getting back to my channel, I want to get back to skits. Now, granted, did it take a lot of time as far as editing and recording? Oh, for sure. But I think I had fun. And the moment that you stop thinking about view counts and all the other good stuff, you just kind of enjoy yourself. So I definitely want to get back to the skits for sure.
Yeah, nah, I understand that. I remember just watching the skits that Kev on Stage, when he used to make them way back in the beginning with like the Playmakers, I was, amongst the day ones, 95 crew way back when, before he was as big as he is now, and he was making them little skits.
Right.
Amazing to watch, amazing content.
Exactly.
And then, fast forward to now and seeing like how much he has grown in that, he has a whole app where he gets to make his own skits and whatnot. So,
which is crazy. That's what persistence does. It pays off, especially when you got a team around you. But I think my biggest issue too was being a perfectionist. Like, I had to have the camera, I had to have the microphone, to where people just doing it off their cell phones and making it that way.
Listen, the amount of people you can record some very nice content on an iPhone, okay? You do not need to have all the bells and whistles. But piggybacking off of that question, off of that comment, what is something that you wish you knew now, or wish you knew then that you know now in regards to content creation?
Ooh. have a few, but I think the biggest one was to kind of get out my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is I was I had everything I needed. To start off making content. Like I really had everything I needed. But then I really started listening to like the other channels and like, okay, I got to get me a rig. I got to get me a Blue Yeti or some type of, whatever. I got to get the ring lights and all this other stuff. And by that time I've spent all that money, then I'm like, okay, I didn't even know how to use Adobe yet. I didn't know how to use anything. Like the software, the stuff that's important to put your video up, I didn't know how to use it. So at that point, now I'm binging because
Mm-hmm.
now I have all this equipment, but then now I'm up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning watching YouTube videos of how to use Adobe or how to get this posted and when you're monetizing and start it's just too much and just like gassing myself out. So where if I just put that phone, hold it up, and just record that way, good. Because it's like Andre. Andre does it that same way, and he puts content on top of content on top of content, and everything doesn't have to be perfection. To where
Nope.
okay, we got to edit and do tricks and do these lovely thumbnails. Like nah, just let it be raw until you get to the point where you have an audience. And that I wish I would have known that then,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to come with a top notch product at the beginning. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you could be like me, almost 10 years later, and still like, you know what? This is what it's going to be. Y'all going to be all right. I'm recording on my phone. I'm streaming from my phone. Yes, do I have the expensive stuff? Nah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't care because sometimes going back to your roots, you ain't got to have all that foolishness.
Hmm.
Okay, so getting
That is
back,
true. That is
getting
very true.
back to gaming, what is your first memory of gaming?
Um, so when I read this question, there were two thoughts that came up,
Okay.
and I would say the one that is the most important
Mm-hmm.
was my grandfather. He wasn't much of a gamer, but he had them because he had 11 kids. So we had a house full. But the one thing that I remember, I actually had the opportunity to play a lot. He had this Pac-Man handheld, and it was like the
Oh.
half of Pac-Man, and it had the buttons, and I used to play the hell out that game. Like I would just play Pac-Man the entire time on that big. I could barely hold it with my small hands at the time. So I mean, I could barely play it, but that was my first one because outside of that, I would just dabble into the Atari he had,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a few games here and there. But yeah, that was like my first like foray into gaming as far as using that Pac-Man handheld device. It was the highlight of my day when I got a chance to play that for sure.
No, definitely like looking back onto some of them old handhelds. It was funny. Like I think Nintendo recently like re-released like the little like Game and Watch handheld,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And they were cleaning out my grandmother's house, and they literally found like the original like Game and Watch little box handheld. I was like, oh my gosh! So it was
Yep.
like, you
Be
know,
surprised.
the memories of first playing like Atari and things of that sort, they really stick with
Yeah,
you.
because another one that was big for me were like the Tiger Electronics handhelds. Like even though they were just little dots, I would play those things for hours.
Listen,
Mortal Kombat, just playing that, just man.
listen, them little handheld things, they hours of content, hours of fun for very little, if you will. Just
Yes.
like
Yep. Yep.
literally, you might
Games
just move a
GameStop
car
sells
back
them
and
now, and
forth.
my boys want them.
Yeah, like them things is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. For
So,
sure.
like, what game are you currently playing? What are you playing right now?
Splatoon 3. That's my go-to right now.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
It did just come out.
heavy, yeah, heavy into Splatoon 3, and like I was telling Jay, Xenoblade had a short window with me, very short window. I was like, let me try to get as much as I can out of it, and then when Splatoon showed up, everything went out the window. And when I don't get a chance to play Splatoon 3 right now, I'm playing I Expect You to Die 2 on the Quest 2.
Okay.
And it's kind of like h- how can I explain it? So it's kind of like you're a spy and you go to these different scenarios, these different situations to where it's like a puzzle game. You have to
Mhm.
figure out how to kind of either break a puzzle or figure it out to kind of get out of a situation. So the current level I'm on now to where I'm on like a private jet. I'm heading somewhere and it's a real nice jet, but anytime you want to do something, let's say for example, they bring food out for me and I look at the menu, key in the stuff for me to get the certain food, but then it sets off like an alarm. Like, oh, okay, this is the type of person. So you got like lasers in front of you, lasers from the side, and you
What?
got to figure out ways to stay alive, of how to like deflect that laser, how to burn it out, how to figure like it's a whole thing.
Oh
So it's
no.
a pretty interesting game because you're just sitting in that one spot and you literally like so many things are going on. You got to just figure it out. The first level being in the opera house, I'm supposed to be the person that's controlling the curtains and the lights. And but the thing is, the main person is trying to poison the main director, but I can't let them know that I'm aware of it. So as I'm doing and triggering all this other stuff, you'll see silhouettes of people coming up. So you got to pull out your gun, shoot them real quick, and then go back to doing what you got to do until the mission is done. But
So
yeah, it's
I'm sorry, you gotta pull out your gun while they're doing curtain call? Like, you got, oh, they're moving the set, bring the
right.
curtain down,
So,
boop, 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 pew, 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 pew. Okay, curtain back up. What?
yep, exactly.
The
Because literally,
things.
it's the guys out front, and you see like a big head that has like poisonous gas that comes out. So when you're looking for everything, getting everything set up, they even got like special codes so you don't trigger things off. And whenever you take out like the canister that has poison and put in a fake one,
Mm-hmm.
the lady that's on your headset is like, "Yo, somebody's messing with it. Go check it out." And then that's when you start seeing people come your way, and you gotta, all right, shoot them while there's a performance going on downstairs. Like then they're oblivious to what's going on upstairs, but you have to handle everything so that way he doesn't die.
Mm-mm. This too much. Nope.
So yeah.
Everybody be dead. Everybody be dead. uh, in the
Yeah, it's
chat,
fun.
Yaktown
I
says
enjoy
that you need to get paid for the review that you are giving. Because
it.
now people are like, you know what? Maybe I need to look into them. What was the game called again?
I
Because,
expect you to die too. Yep.
see, oh, it's a sequel. It's a sequel, y'all. Okay, and I'm over here just playing
Yeah,
on my
the
Oculus.
first one is good too.
I'm just playing the games where you get to cook with other people, and that's what I'm playing.
Also, are you playing Cookout?
Yes,
Okay. I got to get that one. I got to get that still.
yes, and that was fun. I got to stream it a couple times. I just had to like yell out to the
Okay.
little 8-year-olds that I was playing with. I was like, "Hey, I'm streaming. If you don't want to be on stream, you can leave the lobby." They're like, "No, no, it's cool." Like, "Hey, stream." Follow me on YouTube. Like, you got a YouTube
Yeah, you.
channel?
That's
um,
music to their ears.
yes. I do play Overcooked. Jack, do you play Overcooked? Are you cooking?
I used to play. I used to play Overcooked. I had what was that other one that's on the Quest 2? There was another one that I used to do as far as the cooking, but right now the only one that I'm playing so far as the cooking is the Job Simulator because they have an
Oh,
actual restaurant
yes.
level in Job
Yes.
Simulator.
I know which one you're talking about. That one's a little, that's not as
hmm
much fun. I was like,
Right.
no,
Yeah, I agree.
I like Cookout. Cookout is a lot of fun. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to play that. But with this assassin game that you're talking about, basically, um, do you stay stationary or you have to move around? Do you have to like turn around or you stay
Mm-mm.
stationary?
Stationary the entire time.
Oh, okay, well that's good. I know somebody recommended some
hmm
game. I forget which one it is, but you turn around. I was like, okay. On that note, I was getting so dizzy and sick because it was so realistic
Yeah.
that in the game, my brain was seeing that I was moving, but my body wasn't moving.
Yeah.
But I was turning around, but I wasn't, and it was like, yep. My brain's like, no, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Sit down before you get
Yep.
sat down. And so I took off the headset and I was like, okay, never mind. What is
I love VR just as much as the next person, but it does. Sometimes some of these games they'll take you out. Because I like Ultra Wings 2. Everybody told me to buy it. I started playing it, and it's a fun game. It's an amazing game. But then when I start turning in the airplane, and it's just like, yeah, we gonna turn this off real quick. Start getting hot. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I got my refund back real quick.
That's true. They are good with giving you your refund back if the game is not to your liking. Like, I'll just sit there and I'll play my fishing games and my cooking games and I'll be content. But again, thank you everybody who is here in chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, highlight them to make sure I'm not missing them. But I'm pretty good at catching questions. I think I'm pretty good. That might be an outright lie. So, well, with Splatoon 3, which you're currently also playing, what is your, I guess, weapon of choice I'm going to go with? You know, like your painting instrument of choice?
So right. That's a nice way to put it. Right now my favorite is the arrow spray. It's like the little silver, looks like a kind of like a silver paint gun in a way,
Okay.
but the arrow spray is my go-to. I used to be an ink roller back on Splatoon 2, but for some reason I'm just not with it this game. I don't know. I'm just not doing as well as I did in part 2 as I do with this one. But I did notice that they took away the golden arrow spray, which was kind of disappointing. But yeah, that's my go-to right now.
Okay. I only really played Splatoon 1. Was that was on the Wii U, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I only played Splatoon 1. I didn't pick up 2, and I didn't pick up 3. But I liked...
What you doing?
Nah, it was cute. I would cosplay as one of the like squid ladies, but it's cute or whatever. I'm good. I used to play. I used to like the bucket. The bucket was my favorite. It's like
right. See, you need to get on it. You need to get on it. I know you tried the first one, but the third one, I'm telling you, even if you just do the single player, like the single player is on point too.
I don't know about that. Prime, I see your question. For me, what's the name of the cooking game that I play? I play Overcooked 2 on the console. Overcooked 2 on console can ruin relationships, so please keep that in mind. You yell at your family when they burn the pizza. So keep that in mind. And I play Cookout on the Oculus. Are there any games that are coming out that you're looking forward to?
So I don't know if you saw it, but we just had the little Meta Connect thing. So they finally gave a release date to Among Us. Even though I'm not like an Among Us player outside of VR, I feel like it fits perfect for VR. So that's supposed to come out on the 10th of November. And so I'm looking forward to that.
That's right. They are putting Among Us in VR, which I think, like, I don't know if I can hit. Like, it was already traumatizing for them to kill me while I'm on my computer clicking with my mouse. Now, you're telling me I'm going to be up against the wall trying to swipe this stupid card that never works, and all of a sudden, dead.
Yep. That's exactly what's about to happen.
No! I will be traumatized! I will play it. I will not lie. I think like, it's gonna be savage. Like, what?
Yep.
How much are they charging for that?
So I'm looking $9.99.
$9.99. Okay, well guys, there will be an Among Us stream. Oculus stream. I need to dust off the whatever link thing and get. I have to find. I forget even the website that I was using. That was the text to speech whatever. Oh, so like because you're in the Oculus world, so they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So it would read the Twitch chat to me,
Oh,
so
okay,
that I
okay,
could
okay.
respond. But
Got
there's like some way that you can do some type of modification to your Oculus. I ain't doing all that. That sounds like it's gonna break.
you.
That you could
Too
have
much.
you can have your Twitch chat on there. There's something you can do. I'm not doing all that. No,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. That's all right. I can listen to it talking
Yeah,
and what.
exactly. But other than that, as much as I don't like horror games, I really want to try Walking Dead Saints and Sinners because I know Retribution is coming out December 1st. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part two. So I didn't play the first one, partly because I need them to come down on that price. I'm not dropping $40 on no damn VR game. I'm just not doing it. So
Oh
if I catch it on
yeah.
sale, then cool. But I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not paying $40 for a VR game. I'm trying to think like
No.
what VR game would you pay that $40-$60 mark?
I don't think there will be one on the Quest that I would do it. Like the Quest is amazing, but I'm not like I don't like having my headset on that long. I know people that I've connected with on Twitter, they do 24-hour sessions.
I would go
I'm not,
insane.
no,
No,
no, mm-mm,
no.
no. So I don't think I will pay that much for a game. I think the most I've paid for a game is 30, and that was the new NFL Pro Era that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. That's an amazing game. But even then, I got that at a discount because I referred someone and I got 30% off.
Okay.
So
No,
yeah.
I don't buy games until Facebook sends me my little $10 off, and I just keep a bunch of games like in my like favorites or saved or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Right.
Facebook sent me $10. Hold on,
Hmm.
gotta go buy a game now. That's the only
But
reason.
I hate they put a limit on it though, because now you're forced to buy it before it goes away, and that's the
Yeah,
one thing that
yeah,
bugs me.
it does expire. It expires pretty quickly, so that's why you
Oh
keep.
yeah.
As people tell you games, you're like, okay, and like you go on the app, you save it in the app, and you just wait. $10, okay,
Yep.
and that's how I got Cookout. There's so many games I got waiting for the $10, and I bought it.
Oh yeah. I'm right there with you.
Okay, so if you could design your own game, what would it be like?
Mm. Now this
Mm.
one, oddly enough, I think about a lot. Because at one point in time, I thought about actually getting into game design and game programming,
Mm.
and that was short-lived. Once when I realized all the stuff you had to do, so so I was like, no, I'm not that dedicated. But if I could just like snap my fingers and make a game, it's very basic. But I want to create a proper basketball game. Right now, as you're aware, we kind of lose variety over time with gaming. And right now, 2K is the only thing that's out there. So they really kind of take advantage of just being the only thing out there. But I did want to kind of do a crossbreed between like street basketball and real basketball. And the way I would try to make it out without getting like too in depth with it is you really focusing on team building, and that's where a lot of games either you're a one man army or you're just kind of using real life people to where you're kind of stuck to yourself as like the coach as well as the GM, and you truly having to go out and recruit basketball players and kind of acquiesce to their whims a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and really kind of find a way to get them on your team and then also possibly losing them if things are not up to par and trying to build that perfect team to where eventually over time where the real basketball comes into play is around playoff time, like where you actually go play in arenas on playoff time, but then any other time it's pretty much street ball. But yeah, the one thing that kind of sparked my interest in that was not only playing NBA Street Volume 2 back in the day, but then for anybody that's into soccer or football, Football Manager is an amazing game. Like they really go in depth with that game, even though it's not something you can physically play the sport. You can watch them play sometimes, but it's more of you doing it from behind the desk as a GM.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember one scenario when I played it when they had it on Game Pass. I was trying to get a team together, and I got this one high prospect that I wanted to sign, but they make you talk to his agent first. When you talk to his agent, he'll give you a rundown. Hey, he's looking for this, and this. So if you give him this, then we won't have any issues. So I go in there, ready to give it to him. Everything was good, but then he opened his mouth to the press that he was actually being pursued. So then that means other teams came on board. So therefore, he wanted to hike up his price because now he has interest.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't meet that interest, it shut the whole deal down. But the fact that the game got that in depth with the dialogue and everything else, and I didn't have to conjure that up by myself, it was amazing. And even though you're not physically playing soccer, you doing like those deals in the background and really like talking and trying to build your team and get your club up to a certain status was amazing. But to kind of tie that into actually playing the game and really playing that out in a team, not so much of a big football team, but just like, a 5-man team or a 5-man and woman team, I think that'd be amazing. So that's what I would make.
No, no, that definitely sounds cool. As long as there's a slam dunk contest in there, would you also set it up so like if you do anything like shady, you get fined, or like stuff
Right.
like like there are certain things you can and you can't do, like in terms of like promising people to come to your team. So like, like when you have the boys roll up on you like, oh, you did this, this, and this, you've been fined, you lose your first round pick,
So
you do blah 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 blah, all that stuff.
So I was thinking about going like not that in depth to where you got jumped, but definitely getting to the point of, let's say for example, you're playing a certain team and you kind of do a scouting situation
Mm-hmm.
on them, and you realize, hey, look, when we go play this team, the ref that they choose, he's gonna cheat. So you kind of have to either a be on your P's and Q's and be almost perfect, or up the ante and pay the money, pay him a little bit more money, so that way it's a fair game. But it's up to you to make that decision on how you want to actually play. If you feel like your team gonna kill the other team, then you ain't got to pay that money. But if you want to be on the safe side, put an extra, so that way y'all good to go. So I think that'll be but then also too having personalities in the game, to where like one guy he might come on and say, hey, look, I want to be the alpha on the team, and you promise him that, and then when you bring another guy on and promise him the same thing, then you lose both players, or and then that gives you a bad rep to where it makes it harder for you to actually recruit players on your team.
Oh,
So yeah, I've definitely thought about that.
that's like a whole recruiting simulator plus 2K. Like you're
Yes,
adding
exactly.
the simulation game with like playing the game, like both of
Right.
them
Yep.
together.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on the gaming industry as a whole currently?
I would say as a whole
Hmm.
is not quite at a mess yet. It's getting there, but it's not at that mess level. And whenever I think about this, I try not to get nostalgic and think about, oh, well, when we was in the fifth and sixth gen, it was da 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 da. Like, but I look at it from, a non-biased standpoint, because I know there's people that stepped in the game recently and they love your, free to play games. They're your
Oh,
Fortnite players, your Roblox players, and all that. So, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. All right. So you got different types of players, but when I look at the lack of variety, kind of what we're heading towards, to where we're getting way away from physical, going more the digital route, to where it's more convenient. Convenience is not always best for the consumer.
Hmm.
Um, so looking at where we are, to where we're sitting, what Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, PC, you can't really tie a name to it, but you can definitely say PC, and that's kind of where we are. To where you got Sony and Microsoft are kind of one and the same, like a coin, like the same coin of different size, and Nintendo kind of does their own thing. So I don't like the state of it. We get a lot of games, but not a lot of games worth playing. So
Mm,
I would prefer quality over quantity, but unfortunately, much in the same vein of music, games, it's a lot more accessible for you to make your own games now, and that just
true.
leads to people putting out whatever they want to put out.
That's true. In the chat, we have a question from Prime who says, "What game are you playing outside of Splatoon?" What games are you playing?
If we're talking Switch wise, I'll jump back into Mario Kart every now and again, as well
Mm.
as Monster Hunter.
Mhm.
So Monster Hunter, I've been off of that for a while because Monster Hunter, anybody that played it, that's an investment. Like you're not jumping into Monster Hunter and like, oh, I'm gonna get a quick match, and there is no quick match. Like you're you're investing. So those are two outside of it on the Switch side, but then like I mentioned on the VR side, it's a mix between like NFL Pro Era, um, the I Expect You to Die 2, and I need to get back into Floor Plan 2 because I'm real big on puzzles, especially when it comes down to the VR headspace. Because I
Okay.
need to get Moss 2. I completed Moss 1. Moss 1 was an amazing game, and I need to get Moss 2 now that it's out. But yeah, that will probably be my next game going into it. But once again, like I said, some of these are very time consuming, so I try not to play too much.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that. What can
Mm.
you like what were those two games? Your last two games you just mentioned?
Moss 2,
Yeah. What is that?
and then so Moss 2 is like a story about this little rat. The first original story,
What?
it really is. It's like a little rat,
Is about
and
Ben?
so the original
What?
story, like her. So is so it's pretty much like a story of you trying to find your uncle because your uncle ran off to go handle something in particular. It's been a while since I played, so as far as the story, I'm kind of blanking on the story a little bit, but mainly it's like an action adventure game, and you're this little mouse, and you got a sword. Eventually, you get a shield, and you're kind of like overlooking what she's doing,
Okay.
and so you're doing the combat, you're doing puzzle solving, and literally it's just you watching from that top view and just playing the game. It's an amazing game with a great story. Uh, and they just released two not too long ago because the first came out on the PSVR and then it came out on the Quest 2. But part two is just a continuation because
Okay.
after you did like the big monster fight at the end, uh, kind of had a feeling it was going to continue after you saved your uncle, and it just seemed like it was going to get a little bit more in depth with that story. But yeah, it's a great game for sure.
All right. Awesome. I see Prime said that he had a chance to play a little bit of one. And
Hmm.
Serial says, shout out to the little rat homie.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, the
What?
little rat homie. Once when you get like the shield and you get the powers that come along with it, like to where you can kind of like see certain platforms that are otherwise not visible, and fighting different types of enemies here and there. Yeah, it's a great game.
Okay. um, 10 years from now, where do you see the gaming industry going? And are you happy with
Mm,
with that direction?
no, I'm not. To be all the way honest with you, I'm
Not
not.
even hopeful. Not even. We're not even going to sugarcoat nothing. Okay. Like,
No, no, because I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. We talk about this on the podcast a lot, and it to me, when it comes down to Sony and Microsoft, they've gotten way too far for them to turn around. Like, there's no way that Sony and Microsoft can tell you today, "Hey, look, our bad. We got a little too crazy with the graphics and all this other stuff. We're gonna dial it back a little bit." Nah, because people gonna riot. So at this point, you have to just keep propelling forward. You already stepped your foot in it. You got to just keep going. So Xbox, I like somewhat of the direction they're going
mm-hmm.
to where they're doing cloud gaming, still have consoles. They're doing the whole Game Pass thing for those of us that don't want to drop a quick 60. They'll put games on there. And then the fact that they're doing partnerships to where like with Samsung, they have a partnership with them to have cloud gaming on there. Actually, the Quest 2, they just announced too that what was it? Xbox Cloud game what is it called? Is it cloud game? Anyway, the cloud version of Xbox Game Pass is is coming to the Quest 2. So I
Oh.
don't know if you ever use big screen, but big screen is kind of like where you can go and watch movies and do things like that. But you could play the cloud games on those big screens and like different areas, whether it be a space station, the movie theater, drive-in, whatever. So they're gonna bring that to the Quest 2 and make that app available, to where you can just play your Xbox games and just pair up your controller via Bluetooth and just play on a huge screen.
Okay.
So I'm interested with Xbox. Sony, I don't know where they're going. I'm gonna be honest with you all the way. I have no idea, because because people ask me
Now
all the
you say
time like,
I
"Oh,
don't
you're in the
know where they're
VR."
going.
I don't know, because it's like when you think about Sony, great first party games as far as story, but then that's it. Even when you talk about the VR space, I get that question a lot. What do you think about the PSVR 2? I don't think it's gonna do all that well. And the reason
Mm,
being is you have to invest a lot of money up front. You have to get a $500 PlayStation, depending on where you're located. It might be more. And then we already know it's going to be more than that, if not maybe $100 shy. So you're looking at like a 900 to almost $1,000 investment before you even buy games. Like that's a tough pill to swallow.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know what Sony gonna do, but as far as Nintendo, Nintendo gonna always be Nintendo. Like I think they're gonna continue to innovate. They're gonna continue to try to keep it, you know, more in your house, cartridge based. So I like the direction Nintendo's going, and I know that sounds biased because I love Nintendo, but it seems like they're the only ones with their head on straight.
Hmm.
Everybody else is just shooting for the latest, greatest graphics and a quick money grab. But I'm not happy with where gaming is going at this point. I'm really not even from like the software standpoint or the hardware standpoint. I don't see it. I see it burning itself out before it gets better for sure.
Yeah. So Serial said they keep pushing forward graphics. I hope they push more creativity with the game concepts. Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get another like? I love my 3DS, and I know I can bring my Switch
Hmm.
with me, but it's not the same as my 3DS. Can we get another
Correct.
like? Can we get a 4DS? Whatever they want to call it, I don't care.
4DS.
Like like whatever they want to call it, I'm here for it. I like my 3DS is right there. I love my 3DS, and I loved when I was taking the
Hmm.
train every day for work. And there was somebody on the train. I don't know who it was, but we kept seeing each other every day. And our little me's
Hmm.
would talk to each other, and I'll say hi, and they would say hi, and we became best friends. I have no idea who this person was on the train with me every day. Or when I took my 3DS to Comic Con, and then my 3DS basically broke because the amount of people I would meet there, and they would come to like my little
Wow.
plaza. I was like, ah,
Yeah.
welcome in, like I want my 3DS back. 3DS, the new 3DS2, whatever they want to call it. I'm here for it. Welcome, design. Welcome. I'm get your question in a second, Prime. Do you think we'll get one? We won't. We won't, will we? We won't.
No.
We won't. I know we
Because
won't.
I think the light was supposed to be that. I think that's what the light was supposed to be.
It's not
To
the
kind
same.
of like what it's not. I agree. It's not the same. Especially when we start talking about, personalizing and customizing your own stuff. Like Nintendo didn't do that at all this generation.
No.
Like I remember trying to get like the custom 3DSs and then having those themes on top of that. That was the amazing part. You made it your own. But yeah, I don't foresee that because it makes no sense for Nintendo to do it. Sony dipped out on that a long time ago. Xbox never showed interest. I At this point you have you have those what you call it, those retro handhelds,
Yeah.
as well as like the Android handhelds that's kind of flooding that market right now. That's about as close as you can get. But I don't think Nintendo or anybody else gonna do it.
Okay, but piggybacking off of that, and Prime brought up the question: what do you
Mhm.
think about the Steam Deck?
So okay, so I was this close to getting one. Like I pre-ordered just in case I wanted one. And I got my email and they was like, "Hey, you got a week to respond." Then I looked and I was like, "Nah, I ain't paying that type of money for that." But I will say I will say I love the concept of the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Um but it kind of defeats the purpose of PC gaming, because PC
Mm.
gaming is supposed to be where I can tweak this, I can do the mods, I can do
Oh
that. I
yeah.
have like the
True.
the best graphics. running at like the highest frame rates, that's not the Steam Deck. To me, I love the first step where they're going to have to get that a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
outside of just the hardware. Is going to have to be the software confirmation, because right now, from the ones that I played from people I know that have it, you're supposed to give me that reassurance that, hey, with this green check mark, this game works well with my Steam Deck. They don't update that often.
Oh no.
So even with the newest games that come out, you're kind of like, oh, well, does this work? And you just kind of have to take a shot. Like you just don't know. And I think that's the nature of having a open-ended platform. Um, love the concept, like the Aya Neo. I love that idea. They just dropped the Air, which looks just like the Switch, and it runs Windows. I love the concept. Like the Logitech, that one that's dropping for like 300, that's supposed to be a cloud-based one, but love the concept. It's just with PC gaming, there's no reassurance that your game's gonna work the way it's supposed to, opposed to if you have a console, if it's got the Switch up there, if it's got PlayStation up there, if it's got Xbox up there, it's supposed to
Yeah.
work, minus
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. But it's supposed to work.
My Cyberpunk, just slide that in there real quick. Yeah, I know. I remember when the Steam Deck was announced. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna say no. And I never heard anything else about it. And I was like, whatever happened to that? I like Googled it. I was like, I never even heard anything about it. And I realized it came out like 6 months ago. And I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, when did it come out? Because I remember people hyping it up. I remember people talking about getting it. And then it was released. And then it was like crickets. Like, I was like, did it come out? and then somebody was like, oh yeah, I got mine. I was like, you paid too much money for you not to be all over my timeline and talk about how amazing this is. Like,
thank you.
Too much money done went out for you not to be flexing with that thing. I'm sorry, but no. No.
But people were flexing for the wrong reason though, because a lot of people that I know that are on my timeline that I see it, they all say the same thing. Oh, time to put down my Switch. Like, if that's the only reason why you spent $600+, like, dude, come on now. Like, that makes no sense to me. But that's solely why it stayed in the news so long, because it was the comparison to the Switch, which that's just oranges to apples. But when you look at the reason why, to me, it's so quiet, people didn't realize what they were getting into, and then also they were not available. Now they have it now to where you can go to Steam and literally purchase it now. You don't have to get into a line anymore. But yeah, that was the problem. It's not accessible.
See, nope. Prime says Cyberpunk 2 is on the way. Stop the lies. Stop the lies.
Yeah, it is.
Stop the lies. No, I don't believe none of y'all. No.
Hey,
no.
Look, they said it. They said it. We didn't. We just giving you the information that was given to us. So
no. I don't care what you say. No. We gonna say no. I rebuke you. Where the holy water at? Nope.
You gotta accept it. You gotta accept
demon,
it.
out.
Accept it.
No. No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this again. Like, why?
But that really goes back to the question you asked me about the state of gaming in 10 years. We're at a point to where we have, two that I can think off the top of my head. 2 games that came out broken, not to mention lied about, got fixed, and won awards. So No Man's Sky was the first one. Now, if you never touched No Man's Sky, that game to me is in a way kind of undeniable. It's an amazing game. But they lied about it, and it was missing so much stuff in the beginning that if you were trying to get into it, it burnt you.
Was that game?
Same thing with Cyberpunk.
Like, it was like really messed up, and then like the multiplayer wasn't working right, and like the permadeath was like really bad, and like wasn't that it?
I wouldn't even say the multiplayer wasn't working right. They didn't have it in the game.
Oh,
like they lied about oh, y'all, we have so many areas you can't possibly run into each other. Then 2 people will go to the same planet and actually have an opportunity to run into each other and couldn't even see each other. So multiplayer wasn't there, which means that they asked all the retailers to cover up multiplayer on the boxes. So they lied about the game.
Well, You say lie, they said marketing strategy.
Okay, marketing strategy. All right then.
So Serial brings up the Switch comparisons don't make any sense other than being handheld. They cover two different markets. Well,
Correct.
People don't want to hear
Correct.
that. People want to let you know that they bought this and therefore they're better.
Yep. That's how it works.
Okay.
Validate my purchase.
So, what is your favorite game of all time? It can include tabletop. It can include anything. It could be spades. It could be a card game. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't have to
Mm.
be a video game. Any game of all time, and why?
I think I'm gonna have to go video game with this, and it's one that I just wish Konami would listen to me and just give me a remake, and that is Mystical Ninja, Mystical Ninja 64. Uh, it came out on the Nintendo 64, and when I did a little bit more research when I got older, I realized that it was like a popular series in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the first ones that came stateside. And I loved that game to where you have like the different characters that have different attributes and reasonings for you to use them. The music was amazing, the levels were amazing. The concept in itself was amazing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like it was the best game ever in the sense of cameras and frame rate and all that other stuff. It was the 64. Like we had some dips down to 10 and 5 here and there depending on what you were doing, but it was an amazing game, and it was something that I didn't know about because we didn't really have gaming magazines, and at the time, dial-up was still like in our household. So I really it was just word of mouth to me. But when it came down to Mystical Ninja, my grandmother picked it up from a CVS, and she found it in one of the bins at CVS. She thought it looked interesting, like the cover art, because at that time, I don't know if you were like this. We picked up games based off of how the cover art was.
Yes.
Like I didn't have reviews, so if the cover art was dope, oh, I'm picking it up. And that's the same thing my grandmother would do. She would see them for cheap at CVS and like, oh, this looks cool. You want to try it? And we played it. Loved the game. Between the power ups that you get, the levels that you visit, like I said, the music, the bosses, they have the collectibles, and it just pretty much has everything that you would really want in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that that's like the only game to this day that I've beaten multiple times. Like I've gone back and played that game over and over again because I was trying to always find like the 100th. They had like these cat dolls that you collected, and I always would get 99. I would never get 100, and I could never find the 100th cat doll. So I would play that game over and over and over again and never found the 100th cat doll.
See,
But that game, if they said, hey, $70 right now on a Nintendo Switch, we remade it, I'm picking it up.
you're
Day
here.
one.
You're here for it.
I'm here for all of it. Curse me out all you want to. Say I'm stupid. Hey, I'm here for it. It's my money.
Listen, I understand that. If they ever decide I don't want a remake, I want them to literally just move it over. Friday the 13th from NES. Just move it over. I don't need a remake. Don't update the graphics. Don't change the characters. Don't change anything about the game. Make it so I can play it on console. I don't want to play the crappy versions that they have on the computer because it doesn't quite work the same. It's not the
Right.
same. I want to play it on my Switch or whatever. Let me play it. Let me beat Jason. That is all.
So would you play that game in VR?
No. No. Because you got the little zombie people that are walking towards you. And then, and then all of a sudden, like, in the game, they're walking towards you. Do, 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 do. And then they know Jason's coming. So they're like, as they're walking towards you to eat you, and then they're like, "Er!" And then they turn around and walk away. So you know Jason's coming. And then you hear his sound.
Yep.
And then he's there. So no, that would be very scary. in VR to see the zombie coming towards me and then run away from me because Jason's there. No.
Yeah.
So I want them to just let me be able to play that, because I think I could play, like, I remember they had like Faxanadu. If you have Faxanadu, how do you not have Friday the 13th? How many people don't even know about Faxanadu? Not that many people, but y'all have it.
Yeah, I'm about to say not a lot of people. Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, Faxanadu is definitely, close to my heart. I very much like that game. But still. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, what is something that you would say to somebody starting out as a streamer or a content creator?
Stay original to your content.
Mm-hmm.
It can, like, views can get enticing. It can get addictive. I remember getting my first 100 views. Like, you would thought I had just won $1 million. Hey, it was, but it was like, but then when I realized what I got the views from, and I think still to this day, like, if I go to my channel, it's still the most viewed video I have is like over 2,000 some odd views. Stupid video. Like, I don't understand why it has the most, because it's just an unboxing of a Switch Lite. That's it. But then I realized that, yeah, people want to live vicariously through you. So I was like, okay, that's what it is, but I'm not going to be spending all my money unboxing stuff, and just because I want to get a higher view count. But yeah, I would say definitely just make what you want to make, and then if you do it and stay consistent, because that's the biggest part. When you stay consistent at it, your crowd will show up. They'll definitely show up.
They will show up.
And it's definitely, it's daunting. It is. Because I remember when I first started doing it, I had this one person that would be at every one of my videos. Like, he would be the first one to like it, first one to comment. I had no clue who he was. And then later, throughout time, I found out who it was. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate it, because he was there supportive day one. And, even now that I don't make videos as much, I'll still get responses and comments from those older videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. And then even with me having kids, my oldest, he'll go and watch them. He's like, oh, Dad, do you remember when you did this in the video? And I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot all about that video. But he loves my content. And had I gone the route of what gets you views, I don't think he would have enjoyed it. So he likes when I'm funny. He likes when I'm playing around and when I'm mentioning certain things, and so that way he can relate.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say stay consistent and stay true to your content, and truly have a purpose. Like, don't do it just for views and to monetize. Like, do it to have fun.
Yes, do it. I agree. Do it to have fun, and the views and the support will come. Like, just
correct.
Be patient. Don't get too hung up on your follower number. I had to really you gotta definitely learn that part. Don't get hung up on your follower number, because the views be looking right, but the follower number ain't there. But that's all right. The algorithm keeps bringing the people back. They might not hit that subscribe or follow, but the algorithm always brings them back.
Yeah, that's the key thing right there. So I mean, stay with it, and if it's something that you like doing, you don't worry about it anyway. Because I've gotten maybe like one negative comment on one of my videos, and
how
I didn't let it get to me. It was just like, all right, cool, whatever. I forgot what it was that he took issue with. He took an issue with something I said on one of the videos, but I think I get more dislikes on what my other podcast that I was doing at the time. That was more like current event based, and with that, between politics and viewpoints and opinions, that's where you're gonna get a lot of the dislikes, because people are like, no, you're supposed to think like me. But when it comes down to gaming, I didn't really get them a lot. And it's also a great way to meet different people, because I still to this day can't even really tell you how me and Jay connected, but we're sitting at like maybe 3 years now of me being on the podcast. And between him, you, Shadow, Andre, and Sandstorm, y'all pushing people to my channel, that really raised it up too. Mm-hmm. So me still staying who I was, and then meeting different people that connected with the same content, that's where you'll go from there. And it's enticing when you see these cats out here doing the same thing, and they got these nice cars and that 1 million subscribers and all this other stuff. It's enticing. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
No,
don't get me wrong.
definitely, it is enticing because whatever to them people, whatever. Um, so any last thoughts or comments? People in the chat, if you have any last final questions.
No, I would say, yeah. I mean, just always appreciate seeing your content coming across my feed on Twitter, and from the different ranges of things you do, from the crocheting and with the motivation, because you're on like 200 plus days now.
Yeah,
With the amount of
283.
yeah,
283. Yes.
that's big. That's big because I don't think a lot of people realize, like, shit, 10 days is big for some people. So it's hard, but it comes right back down to consistency. And you've built the following, obviously, and then we always got you dubbed as Debo for the channel to come in for the podcast. So, I mean, definitely, like,
Listen,
always,
hold on. Hold on. Okay, Cyril says I'm the strongest woman on Twitch. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question that Yak has asked you, and then we're gonna talk about the Debo comment, so you can explain to people the Debo situation. So your thoughts on the Def Jam reboot?
There's one, because I know they've been lying this entire time. We got a reboot? Did I miss something?
Is the reboot for sure coming? I know they keep talking about it, but I think a lot of people asking for money. For sure, for real.
All I saw was, if y'all get this to like 1 million likes, then we'll do X, Y, and Z. And then they keep doing it. They don't ever release anything. So I don't believe them until I see a game. I don't believe nothing Def Jam. Nah.
It's in talks. It's in talks, apparently.
Yeah, I ain't paying attention to that.
Okay, so explain to the people the Debo.
Okay, so our lovely Vicky, while she is very respected, and also we would love to have her on the show a lot more. We understand she got her own thing. She got her own swag going. But she definitely makes it her mission to show up in the chats and definitely, hit us with a few things here and there, telling us, melanin is popping in the chat and in the video, and, how she needs us to stroke our beards and needs us to do all these other things. And she makes it known that we need to acknowledge her when she comes through, because if not, she will keep posting until we acknowledge her. So in that term, when we all see it, we stop what we're saying, stop what we're doing, and we all in unison, hi Vicky. We just make sure we say our piece, because if not, Vicky will run up on you. And we definitely, that's what we got the dub of Debo, because she will come and she will impose her presence on you, and you better acknowledge her, or otherwise she's not going away.
No, so. I do not go away. But you guys do it, and I'm nice. All I have is like I just like say melanin popping and shea butter baby, and I ask you guys to stroke your beards and stuff. All y'all got beards, so I'm like, well, stroke your beards, because I whatever. But like, I'm nice to y'all. There's many people on Twitch. There's many people on Twitch who I had doing jumping jacks in basketball shorts. So, I'm nice. I like that.
And they did it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I have earned the Debo name, or fangirl bully, whatever people want to call me.
Hey,
I kindly make the request and people perform.
You stay true. Stay true to who you are. I will say, still one of the craziest moments I have was we wanted to support Vicky's crocheting live that you did, but the thing that you were crocheting at the time, I was like, I don't know if I can stay. And he was like, oh no, just Just drop by, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I remember everybody else on the podcast was like, nah, we're not dropping by because of what she's crocheting. I'm like, I'm gonna try to get in there before she gets started. Like, 'cause I don't want to see it either. It's just it is what it is. But I stopped by, spoke a few words here and there, and I kindly left. But yeah, Vicky has a very you know attractive personality, so it's easy to support and kind of acquiesce to her whims whenever she does put out what she needs you to do. Now I'm not doing no damn jumping jacks, no gym shorts, but I'll stroke my beard. That's the
that's
PG content that I'll put
that's
out
how far
there
you'll
on the
go.
internet.
Okay,
As
fair
far
enough.
as I go.
Fair enough. So we have some mini beard gangs. We have somebody has a Kratos beard. Okay, we see the beard gang in the chat. I appreciate you, and I do make people stroke their beards for my enjoyment. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so would you like to share how people can reach you or find you and things of that sort, and where they could see you next time? Here's the Linktree link
Yes.
for you guys to check out Action Jack. But what do you got coming up?
So I was supposed to record a video about VR a couple days ago, but some crap came up, so I got to record it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be mainly focused on the Quest 2, what we just heard about the Pro, as well as the Pico 4. Kind of like how the media right now is trying to create competition, but it's kind of hard for them to do so when the Pico is not even available here in the U.S. So
Oh,
that's kind of
well,
pointless.
no.
But so I'm gonna talk on some things about VR. But then also too, I have it set on my computer. I just haven't posted it. I have to start doing promo because the last album for the year is coming out on the 15th. So that'll be out on the 15th. The album's called Good versus Evil 2. It's the sequel
Ooh.
to my very first album that I ever created, like my very, very first album. So finally got a chance to do a sequel to it. And yeah, that'll be the last one for the year. I think right now, I think when I released 3 albums this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there's a fourth one. And the reason why there's so many, I was just doing a dump. Just trying to get all of what I had sitting around out the way, get it done, get it out there, so that way I can start fresh. So right now I'm just kind of like on a musical break, just kind of educating myself, researching, playing with some different instruments, different sounds, because I still love producing music, but the rapping thing is kind of secondary.
Mm-hmm.
But my main thing is producing music as far as the instrumentation. So yeah, that's what's coming up next for me. But definitely, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, somewhat, but definitely Twitter and Instagram, where I post most of my stuff. And then like I have a link tree on my Instagram that kind of points you to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just search Action Jack on Instagram, you'll definitely see me up there. I don't have anything that you wouldn't recognize me. So it's up there, and then I have a link tree for that to point you to everything else that I have going on.
Yeah, I dropped the link tree in the chat for people so they know how to get to you
Awesome.
and how to find you. So one final question.
Hmm.
When are we playing The Forest?
We're gonna do this. Okay. So, we gonna do this. I thought we was past this. I thought we was gonna be adults about this.
I don't know why you thought that. What part
But
of
I see
Debo and Fangirl Bully don't you understand?
Look, here's my thing, right?
What you
I've said it time and time again. I do not pay to scare myself. It doesn't make logical sense to me. I'm not going to a haunted house. I'm not playing the Force. I'm not doing Resident Evil in VR. I'm just not doing scary shit. And when you explain the Force to me, I'm like, Vicky, why? Like, why torture yourself like that? It doesn't make sense to me. So, if you're talking about going camping, my G, I'm with you. We can go out there and we can do the wildlife, play with the animals, camp, kumbaya, s'mores, all that. But you talking about Forest, the game you talking about? I don't know about that, Chief.
What I heard was you said you're not paying to be scared, but if somebody gifted the game to you,
I don't remember saying that at all.
I'm
I don't
sure
remember.
somebody can clip that and we could just play it back. Did you forget that this is being actively recorded? You said
Yes,
you're
I
not
remember, but
paying, therefore somebody can
correct.
gift
You
the
added that back in.
joys
I,
of the forest.
you added that back in. I said I was not going to pay to scare myself. Now,
Hmm.
as far as gifting, I said nothing about gifting, ma'am.
So somebody can gift you the game and then you'll play it.
Put it like this: what consoles or systems is this game available on?
PC. You can play it on your place on your PC. Yeah.
Uh,
Gotcha.
I don't know
Gotcha.
if my specs meet the
That your
force.
spec as
Uh,
the Forest came out in 2011 or something ridiculous like that. Your specs are good.
so so we're not even talking about the second one that you keep clamoring about then.
No, the second one got pushed back, so you don't have to worry about the second one yet.
Again?
Yeah, they weren't ready. Well, small indie studio. What do you want? So
Look,
they were trying to push too
I
hard.
mean,
Listen, they gotta push it back again, so it's not a cyberpunk. I'll take it. Keep pushing it back until it's ready. Because there'll be nothing worse
all
than
I
me
can
getting it
say.
and it's broke. So, take the time.
True. I'll give you this. I'll budge a little bit. You can have,
Hmm.
how can I put it?
Huh.
If I die one time, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Well, as I have a great save file that you'll be perfectly safe and I can give you a whole bunch of armor, you won't die. And then I'll take you to the boss and let her whoop your behind, and then you'll die. And then I've been satisfied.
See, I feel like you got like this thing of watching people be scared and die in this game. I'm starting to think you got like this fetish with this. I'm getting a hint, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll budge. I'll budge and I'll jump on for a little bit. I got to get my PC in here. Actually, yeah, I need to put it back here in this back room because it's connected to my TV up front. Because I'm assuming it's not that great of a controller game. It seems like it's more of a mouse keyboard thing.
Either one works. I play mouse and
Okay,
keyboard.
well I'm okay. Well, I got an Xbox controller, so I don't have to move it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you're willing to gift it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll catch you next time it's on sale. I just need your Steam. Just need to be Steam friends.
Okay.
Yak is downloading all your music now and will be supporting you. Thank you, Yaktown. That's family right there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that for
I
sure. I
appreciate
appreciate that. Like,
And I know,
I love when people support.
yeah, I know, Yak. We are in talks for you to be on Gamer Corner soon. See, it's not that bad. Look at the second one you have sat through. You see how it is. It's not that bad.
You see how you have people terrified to partake in stuff? This is like
It's a warm, loving
I'm confused.
environment. Don't be scared.
See, I have no problem with this. The forest is what I'm worried about, and now she's worried, or Yaktown is worried about this. So what have you showcased that got them worried?
You are fine. People don't like to talk about themselves. And look, they're like, see, Yak was like, I hope I'm interesting enough. Trust me, you'll be interesting enough. Don't you worry. And the questions are here.
Right.
I give you the questions ahead of time so you can prepare your answers. You don't be too scared. Looks like a fun stage to
Right.
be on. So Serial, send me a message. I'm aiming for every Wednesday. There might be some Mondays. There's so many people that I need to talk to that it's like,
Right.
if I only do every Wednesday, I'm not even going to get to half the people I want to talk to in 2 years. Like, it just, I don't know. I have to figure it out. But, okay. So the podcast, what's it called? When is it on?
So we have the Winging It podcast. It's on every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been trying to get Vicky to make her guest appearances, but I feel like she's too good for us.
Hold on. Jay, is Jay even still in the chat? Jay be running away. Jay, don't be inviting me like that. Number one. They don't be sending the links. Number two. I can pull up my Google chat so they can see. that the links don't be
But
there.
that's the problem. That's the problem because he told us he was like, "Oh, she don't talk on Twitter." Like, what, she don't talk on Twitter? Like, that's where everything is.
And it don't even matter because like Jay got my number, he could just text me. And I keep telling him just text me. Don't send me a message on Google Chat because I might not see it for a day because I don't check it all the time. But you got my number, so you send me a text. RD for the score, coming through with the raid at the end. I appreciate you, RD. I appreciate you coming through. We are sitting here with Action Jack. We were actually about to wrap up. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome to the classroom. I am Vicky, aka the Professor. Pull up a chair. And yeah, but we were just actually wrapping up our Gamer Corner. Again, here is the link for Action Jack, so you can follow him on all his various socials and support. If anybody's interested in being on Gamer Corner, shoot me a message on, Whisper on Twitch, send me a Twitter DM, blah blah. But that's okay. This will be up. I'll probably have this up on my YouTube on maybe Saturday, Sunday, whatever the algorithm says I should put it at, and whatnot. The algorithm. Okay, let's see. Do you even have Twitch open right now, Jack? So you can guide the raid. You don't. You don't even have it open.
No, I do not.
You don't even have it open.
I do not.
As the guest, the guest gets to guide the raid. I'm going to add that to the Gamer Corner at the bottom. So people, when they read it, they can be like, okay.
Okay, I got it open now.
Guides the Twitch raid. Okay, so now it's on. Where are we going? Who are we going to visit? Who are we sharing the love to?
Ooh, right now, one, I would say Player Essence. He just started.
Okay. Send me, can you, how do you spell their name?
Player, Player, capital E, SS.
Oh, I see them.
EN. Yep.
They came right up. Oh, we got a commercial. We got a commercial. So type in incoming so they know that we're coming in. So thank you everybody for being here. We are going to share our love over there. You can check me out at 10 p.m. tonight. I will be on Pinterest Live. So please make sure you check that out. At 7 a.m. tomorrow, I will be in the gym with the trainer. I think it's upper body on Thursdays usually. So come on by. Come on by. So we're going to start the raid and we're going to raid out. Raid out. And show some love.
Always play as a great content creator for sure.
Okay. Bye guys.